What is up, Ravens flock? Huge shout out for your support for the 410 Sports Talk. James and Glenn are the best in the business. They're killing it right now. They love talking Raven talk. Make sure you go subscribe to their channel. Let's go Ravens. Big trust.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. I'm James Haskell, along with my co-host Glenn Martin, and the draft rolls on. The Ravens have made another pick, and we're going to talk about it. But before Glenn gets into it, make sure you guys take a second, stop what you're doing, hit the subscribe button, turn your notifications as these videos continue to roll out, and our live stuff is coming out in the next week. Go ahead and leave all your comments below. But Glenn, who did the Ravens pick up with their next draft pick?
Yes, in round 5, number 171 overall, the Ravens select Daelin Hayes, defensive end or outside linebacker out of Notre Dame. And Jimbo, this is a classic Ravens pick, okay? A classic Ravens late round pick, okay? He was team captain and vocal leader on the team. He came, I think, second in let's see, what was that? In the Jason Witten Collegiate Man of the Year Award. He finished second in that role, for the country. So, just a classic Ravens pick. They love leaders. They love outspoken guys that do it in the right way at their colleges. And, he stood out in the Senior Bowl. Another classic thing that the Ravens love to see. They love seeing guys that show out at the Senior Bowl.
Cream of the crop.
Yeah, and you're taking on grown men at the Senior Bowl. This isn't, where you're the old guy in the room and you're beating up on guys that are 3-4 years younger than you. These are all grown men, and that's who you're going to be facing in the league. Another bunch of grown men. So, and we're going to get more into them. But what was your instant reaction when you heard they were taking Daelin?
Yeah, same thing. I started reading a lot of stuff on him, and people talked about his overall athleticism. It's funny to me because he kind of seems like a watered down version of Udafi Owe that we picked up in the first round. I'm gonna have to get used to not calling him Jason.
Yeah.
But the one thing I want to say about him as well is that I did read some stuff about Daelin, that he has some speed to his game. And so it makes me think that Eric DeCosta talked about how fast quarterbacks are getting the pass, how fast they're getting the ball out of their hands. Sacks are harder to come by. It's about pressures, disruption, things like that, not just counting numbers. And so with him and with Owe and Daelin, that could be a manifestation of Eric's idea behind getting to the quarterback quicker, being more disruptive, even though you're not always getting home. So overall athlete, I think he's 260, 6'3". I think, did you already mention?
Yeah, 6'3 and a half. He's 253. Yep.
Yeah. So not a stat stuffer, but I think he's solid in a lot of areas. Honestly, another guy that he kind of reminds me of in that he's good in a lot of places, not great, like not, mind-blowingly good anywhere, but great and good in a lot of places is like a Matt Judon, a guy that can kind of do a bit of everything. Mm-hmm. And, he's a jack of all trades, a master of none type guy.
Yeah, he plays hard.
Right.
And what's cool about him, you mentioned it, and I'll just double down on it, that, yeah, he didn't have the gaudy sack numbers. I think he was probably a little disappointed in his totals, but he did have 23 hurries in 2020, which was 8th in the ACC. So kind of similar to what we saw from Jason Owe or Adafe Owe is that, the sack numbers may not have came, but that doesn't tell the full story of the type of player he is. So in the fact that they got him this late, I think it is an awesome get. I mean, he's going to fit right into the culture in Baltimore. I think he's got a chance to develop, and that's all you're really hoping for when you're selecting at 171 overall is you're hoping for a guy that can develop into a quality, player, a role player. You're not going to be getting, a consistent Pro Bowler likely in the 5th round. I mean, it's always possible, but it's not necessarily likely. But you're hopeful that you can develop into a guy that can help in certain areas and find himself a nice role on the team. So the fact that they got a guy who's, such a great high character guy, a guy that showed out at the Senior Bowl, which is, is huge for them. And he plays with that great motor. You don't have to teach him to play hard. And that's a big part of Wink's thing. He said, if you can make mistakes, but do it at 100 miles an hour, I don't mind. As long as you're playing hard, you can make some mistakes. But let's get in there and give it 100% effort. And that's how it is to play like a Raven.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I'm really excited to see what this kid turns into. I think he can learn a lot from a McPhee. We'll see if we get a Justin Houston, but that's one of my questions. So we've drafted 2. We've got Tyus, we've got McPhee.
Yep.
We've got Ferguson. That's 5. Who am I? Am I missing someone?
No, well, I think you could be in future.
That's what I mean. As far as like the
right
guys
now,
yeah.
I think that's about it.
So,
yeah.
do you think that these 2 picks have anything to do with the signing of Justin Houston?
Well, I mean,
or have an impact on it in any ways? I guess
I don't think it impacts it at all because I think it'd still be nice to add some veteran leadership. So and Justin Houston just brings that consistency on the outside. A guy that doesn't miss games, a guy you can count on. He's going to be another good person in the locker room, and a guy that can really help tutor guys like him, guys like Owe, and turn them into, hopefully, let them see their full potential. And I think McPhee's going to play a big role in that. I love the fact that they were able to bring McPhee back to teach these guys what it is to play like a Raven.
And he's still productive. I mean, he's still he's still productive. I
mean, he was one of the big contributors in shutting down King Henry in the playoffs. But this guy, he's got a chance. I mean, look, Daelin had he was a 12-game starter last season, and he was he had 17 tackles, but 6 of them were for a loss, 3 sacks. He had a pick, and he did have 2 forced fumbles. So this guy can impact the game in a bunch of different ways. I'm excited to see what he can turn into. I wouldn't say that he's going to immediately impact the field, but you never do know. As long as he has the work ethic, Wink will find a way to get him on the field and get him in a position to succeed. He's not going to put him in a spot where he's going to be hanging him out to dry. He's going to make sure he puts him in a spot where he feels confident that he can be successful. So we'll let the wait and see on him, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The last thing I'll mention here is that he is, according to some other information that I've been able to look up, he's already his stout edge or an edge setter, which, look, we know that we've complained about that the past few years. We want to be setting the edge and improve there. And he thrives in underneath coverage, even though he's a good size. So like you said, he can do it all. He can do a lot. So it'll be really, like you said, wait and see type scenario. It'll be really interesting to see. But let us know what you guys are thinking about Daelin Hayes. Give us all your thoughts. Is he an under the radar guy that you guys can see, jumping into the rotation this year and having more of an impact? He was, Glenn, a 5-star recruit coming out, so he's got the athleticism that jumps off the screen that people want. So let us know what you guys think. Make sure to, like I said at the beginning, subscribe, hit the like button, and we'll talk to you guys soon.